Even I have started sharing screen, sir. Shall I continue or should I stop? Okay. So very warm welcome to everyone. I hope I am audible. I thank Genoveva ma'am and Uta ma'am for giving me this opportunity to speak up on a public platform and such a global event. So this is the first time I am speaking, and I also thank Mr. Kartik sir for giving me an opportunity and for all the technical help he is arranging. So here we'll be discussing about the scope of homeopathy in incurable cases. I hope I am audible. Yes, can you hear? Please just type. Okay, okay. So let's continue. Fine. So what is the scope of homeopathy in incurable cases? So first of all, without wasting any time, let's just quickly brush up a case. So this was a case. I'll just tell you the background idea. How I got this case. So he is a 18-year-old male who is mentally retarded. Actually, they presented with complaint of convulsions since childhood. Earlier parents didn't understood what, but by the age of 2.5 years, 3 years, the child was unable to speak. He was unable to react to the questioning, and then it was confirmed that child was mentally retarded. He had convulsions in his childhood, say up till the age of 5 6 years, with fever. So that was a case of febrile convulsion. But now what happened? I'll tell you further how this case, again, convulsions has started in this case. So this lady, the mother came to me, and she showed me her hand. This particular child has bitten her, and her hand was literally, she was bleeding, and she came to me for that purpose. And I remember that she was really, she required stitches for that. And then I asked that how it happened, and then she told me that her 18-year-old child who is mentally retarded and is having this complaint of epilepsy, and it has started nowadays. The complaints are increased nowadays. So, in such cases where epilepsy are there, I just go into the specific, very big, great details about the epileptic episode, and I will recommend everybody should go for that. So, what is the aura like? How does a patient knows that how does epilepsy comes? That should be the important thing. As an homeopath, one should listen to it. So, aura, I could not find out any specific into the case, but during the ictal phase, patient used to turn violent. He used to bite his mother. He used to tear the clothes, whatever and whatnot things he used to do, and clenching of hands. And it lasts. She said it used to last for say 5 minutes. Post-ictal phase, what happened? Mother elicited that patient sleeps for 8 to 10 hours after the epilepsy. And I inquired what is ongoing treatment going on, and there was convulsions which were going on, and they sometimes need to restrain him sometimes. Going into further detail, I asked about what are there any aggravating modalities, or what makes him what happens, what are the ameliorating modalities. So I could get only one, that loss of sleep causes such kind of attacks. Now nowadays frequency of attacks was only once a week, and now I tried to know the reason how this attacks have been started again. Initially, in as a child, febrile convulsions up till the age of 5 6 years, those are okay, but after that, how it has started. So what happened? Mother observed that since there is increase in the frequency of attacks, there is also increase in the sexual desire. She told me very abruptly that nowadays I have observed, ma'am, that this particular my child is indulging himself in some sexual activities, and here I got what exactly the case was. Okay, so, whenever the cases like of a child or of a say of a epilepsy or of mental retardation comes up, history of mother during pregnancy becomes a very very important part while taking a case. This history should not be missed in any of the patient. Okay, as a child, any patient, you should not miss this history. Now, mother's pregnancy, what she told me that it was stressful. She was forced by the in-laws that there should be a boy, and she had one girl actually initially who was normal, and she was filled all with the negative thoughts that what if happen, what another girl is born, what will happen to me. She had lots of workloads. She wanted to die, and she even tried doing suicide, but she failed. Now, with such background, this child was born, and this his birth weight was 2.7 kgs. Milestones were delayed, and later on, parents found out, as I earlier mentioned, that any doctor could diagnose him as mentally retarded. That doctor was diagnosed by the age of say 2.5 years. Okay, now, past history. While taking past history, I tried to see any other diseases, how this syphilitic background has came up. So, history of viral fever I got history of recurrent colds, dental caries, and he also had a trauma to his right leg. And even I usually go for birthmark and everything, because see, in past history, this particular side affinity many a times you can get in a case. So this particular patient, I could say that he is of a right sided nature. From this I could elicit that. Family history had nothing, so I haven't mentioned here. Maternal side, paternal side, there was no any other major illness. But in personal history, he was having a vegetarian diet. Appetite was quite normal. She said fasting aggravation. He sometimes gets very restless, very irritable. Patient is actually thirstless, but we make him drink more amount of water. Then he desires spicy things. He likes mangoes. Nothing, no specific aversions were there. Bowels, he had flatulence. In bladder complaint, you see, there were offensive urination, but sometimes he didn't had control over bowel and bladder things, because see, he was a mentally retarded child, and this is quite obvious in those children. So sleep, she said he sometimes startles in sleep, and usually sleeps on the left side. Loss of sleep aggravation is sometimes there, which is actually related with the pathology also, that he get an epileptic attack. Now perspirations was profuse all over the body. Sun aggravation was there. Thermally, she said he will never have a covering or anything on his body, and he is hot thermally. So mentally, she told me, I generally go for a basic disposition of a child whenever any case comes up. See the basic disposition of a child, what has hit him, and what changes are there, any changes in the basic nature. Now that will give you very important PQRS symptoms every time in a case. So basically, she told me that he is mild except in case of convulsion. So only at that time he turns very violent, and that is to happening nowadays only. Now he is sensitive, reserved type in nature. Otherwise, he doesn't want to touch him, so anyone to sit besides him. He's very cautious about, like, somebody is approaching. He even cannot bear someone, or he cannot even like the touch of someone. That was his basic predisposition. Basically, he was an introvert person. He won't mingle up with people. He won't like people around him. He cannot manage things by his own, because he doesn't understand what others are saying, or anything. If he is being told that go out and bring something from a shop, or he is not unable to do all that things. So that way he was a slow constitution. Now requires only his clothes to be put in proper order, and this was the mental symptoms what she gave me. Based on that, I derived few totality. And see, in cases where there are mentally retarded patients convulsions, you have to rely upon their parents or whosoever is accompanying to give to elicit the history. So mother gave me the detailed history, but I considered few things from that. So a mental retardation, basically a dwarfish picture came up. I actually saw that patient. He was sitting in the corner, foolishly giggling and all those sorts of things he was doing. He was least interested in talking to me. He actually wanted to move out of my cabin. So convulsions which are aggravated from loss of sleep and with its increased sexual desire. This was the basic major thing, and that was the entry point of mine into the case. He desires spicy, was thermally hot, right-sided, sleep after convulsion. All these points were very important. But see, while case taking, you might take a case in 2 minutes, or you might take a case within 2 long hours. But what you take from the case is really important. So while deriving at some data from the case, you have to be very particular that you get some PQRS symptoms from it. So from that, we I got that convergence. So basically, I needed a remedy which acted more on a central nervous system, which covered the part of convulsion, which also had some dwarfish foolish characters, and with it the desire, the increased sexual desire, which was very particularly coming up in the case. So, a remedy that came up in my mind was the only thing, that was the only remedy given by Dr. Sankaran has beautifully described this remedy, that this is the remedy which has symptoms of Baraita carb and hyoscyamus. So, dwarfish, foolish nature of Baraita carb is seen in a patient, whereas shamelessness, lasciviousness, increased sexual desire, like that of a hyoscyamus, is also seen. These two things, and the remedy has to act upon the convulsive state. So that remedy was Bufo. Bufo Rana prescribed, and what happened? The follow up every time is very important. What you give, what happens after the prescription is really important. So what happened? Within 3 days, now patient presented with fever. Actually, his mother only called me and she told me that he's having fever. And then many times, what happens in many particular cases, after prescription, if I get to hear something like he is having fever, or there are any discharges, if I hear that, I feel really pleased, because we know that some vent when we have got, we have to wait there. So I waited there. I asked them to give antipyretics only if fever is more than 100. And then actually, to everyone's surprised, actually they were also really surprised by the case, that the convulsion episode reduced steadily from every week to a month. So I saw this case in the month of, say, June 2019, last year I saw this. And then she called me up, she rang me up, that only monthly he is having convulsions now. And last convulsion was, I think, on January 20th of January. And then I saw him once on March, on 8th of March, for fever, where bryonia was prescribed for acute state. Then further after that, the episodes are really stopped now. I actually gave him, before presenting, I actually gave them a call, so that I wanted to know what was the progress of case. So these episodes were stopped, but his mental retardation still persists. So in such cases, you should not expect, what you have to expect, that these episodes, this violence should be palliated, that should reduce first. I really don't expect much changes in his retardation process, but then yes, definitely his convulsions are being stopped nowadays, and he is doing beautifully on Bufo. So Bufo is one of the remedy, you see, when you consider the childishness, the lack of maturity and control in a patient. Along with it, you will see sometimes this patient will have violence in them. Why violence will be there? Because see, Bufo is basically a toad, so it belongs to an animal kingdom. So it belongs to an animal kingdom. So you will see the basic behavior of an animal, like that of a fear of animals, or some mischievousness, some violence, like attacking tendency, that will be seen. Okay, mental retardation isn't used in the West, and it is mental or emotional disability. Yeah, right. Okay, disability, or he was here mentioned as retarded. Okay, okay. So when such kind of cases where convulsions and this picture of retardation or disability is there, or some emotional disability, you have to think from this angle. You have to cover up the remedy that way. Okay, so this was one of the cases of Bufo. Many remedies related to, say, like convulsions were coming up, like cuprum, even cicuta is a very good remedy, cover up specifically for epilepsy. Even if we think about ethusa is the remedy where you will see convulsions, and basically in convulsions, usually there is upward rolling of eyeball, where in ethusa you will find there is eyeballs are rolled downwards, and you will see the well marked linea nasalis of the patient. So you have to differentiate from that point also. So while prescribing a particular remedy, a correct remedy will take you to the right follow up and right treatment part, and right, you'll get the right results. Okay. Very shortly, let's move to the next case. Next case is of a 6-year-old girl. Okay, she presented with warts on her face, and actually she had nothing, but she was worried cosmetically. Otherwise, there were no complaints. Uh, okay, so past history. Usually, I go for detailed history taking in each and every case. So she had a history of diaper rash, also history of febrile convulsion. She had trauma to chin. Usually, she was born as a C-section baby due to premature rupture of membranes. Mother's history during pregnancy was uneventful. Milestones were normal. All vaccinations were given, but there were no complaints as such. Okay. Family history, her maternal side, her grandfather had ischemic heart disease and had CVA. Grandmother had diabetes, and on paternal side, her grandfather also had diabetes mellitus. So, okay, in personal history, she was a vegetarian, normal appetite, thirsty chocolates. She liked milk, sweets, bowels. She had flatulence, and nothing else was find out much characteristic, rather than other than flatulence. Nothing else was there. Okay, so mentally, I could see she was such a mild, emotional, introvert child. She was reserved. She always wanted someone to be. She wanted to be with someone, but she was a reserved. She never liked to open up or mingle up. With the age, her age group people also, she was same. She was forward basically. She used to weep easily. She was restless. Her father told that she is very restless. She cannot sit at a place, but I actually could not find out. She was sitting quite nicely in my clinic, quite comfortable. So school reports said that she is shy, silent. She doesn't wanted to participate in any kind of her activities. So she has to be pushed to do things. So she was an above average that way in studies. So, initially, based on all the history, I usually go for first of all, a correct constitutional simillimum. But if anything, no changes are taking place, then I'll change my plan of action. So, Natamur was prescribed, but nothing happened. Actually, I waited within for a month of for 1 month or so, but nothing happened. Within 1 month, she landed a fever, cough, and right-sided basal cramps. And based on that acute totality, I prescribed her lycopodium. But after lycopodium, I found out that her one ward was shrunken and other one elongated, and eventually it also got cleared. The purpose why I am presenting this case is, many times you might see one might fail in deriving a correct constitutional simillimum, but later on, in while taking acute totalities, you will might get to a right remedy, and the whatever the disease part is, that might get cured up, or that might get cleared up. Shall I go ahead, sir? Yeah. Okay. Shall I go ahead? Am I audible now? Okay. See, so this was the result after the correct prescription that was prescribed. So many a times it might happen that initially you might not come up to a right remedy, but eventually you, with the practice and with correct, you might get some right totality, and you might come to a right thing. And when prescribed correctly, you could see the result, how beautifully her 4 or 5 wards were there around above the eyelids, and all of them were fallen down. So, and they were really pleased. But see, in such cases also, I have done something for their family members. That's why they stick towards me. Okay, but see, if it wouldn't have been the case, they wouldn't have been waited for me for 1 long month. Okay, so you have to be really, really very cautious while prescribing, while giving up the medicines, while taking follow-ups, because see, eventually one patient cured will bring to you 10 more patients. So for that 10 more patients, you have to see every patient very, very nicely and very cautiously. So, I thank you everyone for giving me an opportunity to present my cases on this platform. You can write to me at khardenvis.akshaya@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Karthik sir, for all the help.
Thank you, Akshaya. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. But
Okay, fine.
yeah,
Okay, thank you, Akshaya, for the wonderful cases that you just shared with us. And we hope to have you again soon on this platform.
yeah,
And
thank you.
now, yeah, thank you. And now we will wait for Dr. Jetashri to join us. I'll just ask Jeta to join us now. Yeah, she's just joining us now. Genevieve is also joining us now. Jyotishi, your mic is on now. Yeah, but I can't see you yet. Yeah, she'll be with us in a minute now. Yeah, there she is.
Can you see me? Okay. Yeah. So should I go and share the screen?
Oh, Jyotishi, you're all right. Yeah, you can share screen now.
Okay. How should I do that?
There's an icon on top which is called screen. Hello, Genoveva.
Hi, Karthik.
There's a screen sharing icon right on top. next to the camera icon. Do you see that, Jatashri?
Yeah, that I can see.
Yeah,
Yes,
if
yes,
you
yes, I can see
click
that.
on that, and then you can start sharing.
Okay. Let me know if you can see the PPTs.
It's loading now, so in a minute, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you can start with your presentation.
Can you see that?
I can see a screen. Uh,
Okay. Can you see the PPT?
yes, I can see it, but you need to expand it to for a full screen.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay. Is it good
yep,
now?
we can see
Okay.
that. Go ahead.
Okay. So, hi everyone. This is Jyotashri Upadhyay, and I have been practicing photography since last 7 years in Surat. And thank you so much, Dr. Karthik and Genoveva, for uh, giving me this platform to share my knowledge and also to learn so many things from you people. So I am practicing, like, the basis of practice is mostly pathological cases. I'm seeing pathological cases more in my practice, and I have been using both the approach, the classical one, which includes the mathematical and the repertory part, as well as the sensation approach. So today, my topic will be the integration of old and new approach in homeopathy. So first of all, I would like to thank my teachers, Dr. Rajan Sankaran and Dr. Samir Upadhyay, that is my father. I'm going to show you a beautiful case of irritable bowel syndrome, followed by the repertorial analysis and the system approach. So let's start with the case. This is a case of irritable bowel syndrome in 21-year-old boy. He was diagnosed with this before 5 years. The complaint started around 10 to 11 months before he got diagnosed. His complaints included severe pain in abdomen after eating and watery stool after that. And the pain used to remain even after the stool. Stool is watery with sticky, thick, and stringy mucus. And after about half an hour of stool, he feels better in pain as well as in uneasiness. He told that I feel ashamed whenever I have to go out. I cannot talk to people easily. I feel I'm not confident enough to talk to them. I cannot even eat anything in parties or social functions or anywhere. I have to see whether they have got proper washrooms or not. I'm tired of this now. And I don't know I'll ever get rid of this. I have stopped all the medications since last 15 days. I'm very hopeless. One of my friends gave your reference, and that is the only reason why I'm here today. I'm still not sure whether I'll get better or not. I asked how it started. He told, I don't know. It started with mild uneasiness and diarrhea, but after some months, the intensity has increased. So I went for the checkup and I got diagnosed with this irritable bowel syndrome. I asked further any particular incidents or some emotional disturbance which affected you the most. And as soon as I asked the question, he started crying. And the crying went for almost 1 to 2 minutes. And after that, he told me, I don't show this to my parents, but I have got severely affected by the separation of our family. I asked, tell me more about that. What happened and what was the effect on you? And he told that we were staying in a joint family. The bond between us was very strong. People used to give examples of our family for staying together. So much of love and warmth. There was no stress about anything. I was very, very close to my cousins. We were like siblings more than cousins. And we were very attached to each other. And suddenly, there was some dispute happened in business between my father and uncle. And my parents decided to stay in a separate house. We have bought a new flat and we shifted there. I was completely devastated. I did not even know what to do at that time. I asked, was it shock? He told that it was more of a sadness than shock. I still am missing them. I still miss all the love and warmth and all the good times that we used to have together. I think about this almost every day. The attachment is too much that it is still difficult for me to believe that we have got separated. So here I could see the separation, the bond, the connection, the disconnection, so much of love and warmth and emotional connection. These words are coming frequently, very frequently. Further, he told that I'm a very emotional person. Talking about that or even thinking about that makes me cry. He was like, I have become so much lazy since some years, especially after this complaint started. One side, I want to work so much and I work also, but on the other side, I'm completely lazy. I just want to lie on bed. I do not want to do anything, any kind of work, just lying on bed. I love to be in company. I cannot stay alone. There is always a kind of tension regarding business and financial matters, especially after the dispute happened. I asked about the cravings, and he told that basically I'm a foodie. I used to eat everything and I used to overeat all the times. But now I don't feel like eating anything. So this was the case. I have taken these rubrics. First, mind, confidence, want of self, then despair, recovery of, then activity, desire for, alternating with lassitude, bed, remain, desire to, affectionate, admired, company, desire for. So in my chart, you can see there are two remedies which are going through and through. Two remedies of one family, that is cola nut and the chocolate. If you see the rubric activity desire for alternating with lassitude, again there are two remedies, chocolate and cola nut, which are going through and through. The remedy I have given was chocolate 200, single dose. The follow up, almost after 1.5 months, he told that frequency of stools reduced, the mucus comes sometimes, pain has reduced a lot, and I have added many more things in my food which I never used to eat before. Mentally, I feel calm. I still miss my family, but the anxiety is in control now. Overall, he was 40 to 45% better in 1.5 months. So, let's see about Malville's family. So, in Malville families, the attachment is here when two entities become together, where one becomes a part of the other. It is like a baby in mother's womb, where the baby becomes a part of a mother. The sensation keywords of Malville family: attach, attached, attachment, join, bond, bound, connect, emotionally involved, fond of, merge with, tied, union, put together, emotionally connected, detached, unattached, separated, indifferent, estranged, apart, disconnected, unconnected, disjointed, unmoved, uninterested, take apart, uncaring. The active reactions are communicative, affectionate, company desires, outgoing, talkative, loving, caring, the warmth, love, affection that they want, very friendly, kind, and companionship. The compensation is they're independent, they have to be self confident, they have to be on their own, self sufficient, self supporting, and self reliant. And passive reactions are they become estranged, completely indifferent everything too. So let's go to kola nut. What is kola nut? Dr. Sankaran has written, these are malwales and leprous miasm. The main feeling of leprous miasm is completely unwanted, completely outcast. I felt like an outcast, as if no one cares about me. No desire for company. What is chocolate? Chocolate is a malwales plus psychotic miasm. The chocolate is a remedy of the drug group and of the psychotic miasm. The main feeling in chocolate is the want of warmth and affection. There's a need for contact in the chocolate person. It is a feeling of a child who was separated from her mother too early, while the need to suck at the mother's breast was still very strong. As a result, the person feels forsaken, isolated, estranged from her family. Being separated from her mother makes her feel as if she is separated from her world. So that is the chocolate. If you see, there are other three families which are sharing the same kind of sensation of attachment, of connection and disconnection, of bond. The other families are conifers, leguminous, and scrofulariaceae. The conifers, the thuja, the family. So the main feelings in conifer, the connections and disconnections arise out of a deeper feeling of being fragile, brittle, delicate, glass like, along with inner emptiness. The dissociation is not from something. The feeling is I'm brittle. I'll break and crumble and be dissociated from myself. It is a one, whole, and continuous thing. And there's a break in the continuity of the whole. It is like an eggshell. When it is empty, it is fragile and brittle. And once it is broken, it loses its continuity and it crumbles into pieces. Leguminose, it's a pea family. You can see this. The pods have different components together and they need to separate in order to spread. They split open along the sutures, split explosively, and scatter seeds widely. The self is made up of a various parts bound together, and there is the feeling that the parts could separate and fall into pieces. And there is always an external factor splitting them up. The next family is Scrophulariaceae. So in this family, the bond is in between two separated entities joining or adhering together, and the bond is broken. And in this family, we find rubrics with the sensation of adhesion and tearing loose. So this is all about the Malville's family. Thank you so much. You can write, this is my email ID. You can ask me any questions or write to me anything. Dr. Karthik.
Yeah, we can't see your email ID. Can you just?
Yeah, just a minute.
Oh, there you are. Okay, there it is. So, if anybody's got anything to ask Jaitashri, that's her email address. You can write to her, and she'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you,
Definitely.
Jaitashri. Very insightful. This was.
Thank you so much,
Uh,
Dr. Karthik.
I've never heard or I've never seen a chocolate case before, so that was nice.
Yeah,
That-
yes.
It's
That's
a
a very
very rare
beautiful case.
remedy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a rare
yeah, yeah.
remedy as well. Yeah. So the next on the line is Genoveva. Genoveva, let's see if she's here.
There's some questions I can see.
Jeta, can you hear me?
You can check it on the Facebook page. Let me check. Together separated.
Karthik, can you hear me?
How did you decide to come to homeopathy? I mean, what made you take up homeopathy?
Yeah, so basically my father is a homeopath. He is practicing since last 34 years. So
Okay.
I used to listen to all the cases and about remedies and success cases as well as failure cases. He used to share with me almost every day. So
Okay.
it was decided at very early age that I want to go in homeopathy. Though I was not forced by him to choose this particular profession.
Hmm.
Where
And this
this
is how I
passion,
came into this.
where this passion for homeopathy to you, come to you.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me
Now,
now?
where did this passion for homeopathy come to you?
Where did, yeah, basically my father. Like, I'm very much thankful to him for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jeta.
Thank you so much, General.
Mm,
Any more questions?
I think, yeah.
No other question with regards to
Oh,
the other song, to India and to all friends there around. And it was my pleasure to have you here. Your case was
thank you
very
so much.
interesting.
Thank you, General.
Oh, there's one from Hamper. Did you give another remedy to improve the bowel symptoms?
No, he's still on the same remedy, chocolate. And I repeat almost after like once in 2 months. Single dose. He's doing
Okay.
better.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, Jeta. Thank you so
So
much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Karthik and General.
thank you, dear. Hope to see you to our next event.
Sure. I would love to be a part of that.
Oh, it will be
There's
maybe
some more cases.
after 1 month, maybe. I will tell
Okay.
you the title.
Definitely.
We have already idea about the title with my colleagues, Kartik and Tuta.
Yes, for sure. Yes, you let me know. I'll be there.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great evening, actually, because in India it's right now.
So, so Genevieve, it's all yours now. You got your, yeah.
So maybe you know everything about me, but for those who don't know who am I'm classic homeopath. I live in UK now, working online with patients, and I'm teacher in Homeopathy Voice Online School. What homeopathy is? First of all, and what homeopathy interview means? Homeopathy interview is friendly. Your homeopath is your friend, not your opponent. He doesn't want to judge you even if you have done a crime, because he is aware that this is disease, not coincidence, and can be healed. The main thing that makes homeopathy special is that she penetrates beyond the human reason for the disease, beyond the human psyche, even beyond the psychology. The Old Testament of the Bible said, if you are guilty, you have to be punished. Homeopathy says, if you are guilty, this is disease and it can be healed. How? By understanding the core of the person, the main pattern, which lies in his subconscious. As you know from, as we know from Carl Jung, we spend 95% of our life living in our subconscious, and we are only 5% conscious about ourselves. So the reason for the disease is illogical, inhuman. Dr. Shankaran calls this the other song inside of us. What is this, the other song? This other song is the energy or the pattern of something from the nature which vibrates inside of us, and its place in the nature is proper. But inside of us, this, the other song, creates dysfunction and disease. Ще превежда малко и на български. Казах, че причината за болестта е другия модел в нас, който лежи отвъд съзнанието, отвъд подсъзнанието, дори отвъд психиката, отвъд всичко човешко. И това прави хомеопатията специална, защото тя прониква отвъд психологията, отвъд човешките причини за болестите дори. И we are multidimensional creatures, actually, and we live at different levels. We live at many levels, but the main levels are 7. And the first level is the name of the disease. The second level is the fact, modalities, location, sensation, concomitant, and modalities. The third level is emotion. Emotions like fear, joy, happiness, sadness, etc. Then when we ask someone what he feels, for example, in joy, and he might say, I feel like I'm flying. And then when we ask him what is the sensation when you feel flying, and he might say that I feel light, I feel expansion, and I feel that I became one with the universe. I'm so expanded. What do you feel when you don't feel expanded? I feel small, constricted, shrinked. And this is exactly the sensation of the Cactaceae family. You know, the cactus in the wilderness. When there is no rain in the wilderness and the cactus shrink. They're very dry. But as soon as the first drops of rain appear, the cactus very quickly grows again. So the same sensation we can see in the people who need any remedy. Doesn't matter what is the name of the disease, whether this is bowel syndrome or this is hypertension or hypertension or thyroid gland disorder or diabetes or cancer or depression or whatever disease is this, urticaria, eczema, psoriasis, whatever disease is there, we always have these 7 levels. And we have to understand the person as a whole on all these levels. So this sensation of expansion and shrink, this is the 5th level. And actually here at the 5th level, this is the deepest level when we can understand the person on his bottom. And only homeopathy has such kind of depth. And at this level, the people talk and use not human words. And then 6th level, the gestures, the sounds that patients makes. So the snakes make these gestures, for example, like this. The birds can fly like this. The cats and mammals can do this gesture, like lions who want to catch their victim. So, and the 7th level, this is the empty canvas on which all other levels are superimposed. И така казах, че първо ниво е името на болестта и тук може да имаме всякаква болест. Алергии, астми, високо-ниско кръвно, чревни болести, болести на дуоденома, на двунайстопръсника, проблеми с тироидната жлеза, псориазис, уртикария, възли на щитовидната жлеза. Всичко може да е тук. Второ ниво е факт. локация, модалности, усещания, съпътстващи симптоми. Трето ниво са емоциите, които изпитваме: гняв, страх, тъга. И след това са делюзиите, примерно ако емоцията е радост, усещането може да е за летене, т.е. делюзията може да е, че лети някой, и усещането да е в летенето може да е лекота, разширяване, ставам едно с цялата Вселена, и обратно на това, свивам се, чувствам се ограничен и се свивам, и това е точно усещането на кактусите, на семейство кактацея, така както те в пустинята без дъжд се свиват и сгръчват, и след това при появата на първите капки дъжд те се напълват и се разширяват. Същото усещане имат и хората, които имат нужда от лекарства от семейство кактацея. И шестото ниво са жестовете, звуците, тук са и цветовете, за които научаваме чрез арт практиките, които използваме в хомеопатията. И седмо ниво е празното платно, върху което се наслагват всички останали. Сега това са основните 7 нива, на които всеки човек съществува. Те са повече, но основните са тези. Както имаме 7 чакри, както имаме 7 дни от седмицата и така нататък, така имаме и 7 нива, на които ние хората съществуваме. И затова, когато лекуваме някой, ние не може да излекуваме нито едно ниво, без да излекуваме всички останали. So when we heal someone, we cannot heal him long-lasting and deep if we don't heal all 7 levels. It's not possible. Even scientifically, even logically, even in whatever way we think about this, we can't, because our emotions are connected with our dreams. They are connected with our body sensation. Everything is connected. We cannot live as separate parts. So there are many methods and many schools in homeopathy. There is a classic approach where we use materia medica, repertory, provings, and there are many modern approaches. One of them is sensation method of Dr. Shankaran, Michal Yakir's evolutionary development. But we also have Massimo Mangialavori's method, Peter Fraser, and many others. These are the main three approaches I use, but I also like other. And I also use meditation, art practices, regression, etc. But I use all these not traditional methods, not separately, but like I implement them in the homeopathy interview and use homeopathy in order to accomplish each of them depending on the person. So these are our 7 bodies. This is the whole person, not only our body. Why I show this? Because the homeopathy remedy has to be similar to us. Because the like cures like is the main law we use in homeopathy. And actually the homeopathy remedy or the similimum is a substance that when accepted into healthy organism causes certain symptoms, cures the same symptoms found in another diseased organism. It has an energy similar to this sick organism. This substance is converted into homeopathic medicine through a number of dilutions with water and concussions like this. And actually this is the miracle and difference, for example, from the herbs, because many people think that homeopathy and herbs are similar, but it's not like this. They're completely different. Много хора мислят, че билките и хомеопатията са едно и също, но те са много различни, защото точно при това сокусиране, разреждането във вода на хомеопатичните субстанции и сокусирането отключва скритите жизнени сили в тях и те стават много по-силно енергийни. So through these conclusions, the hidden forces in the substance increase a lot, and the electromagnetic field, the vibrations of the electromagnetic field increased a lot and became similar to our, because we as a human creature, we have high level of vibration. If we use, for example, normal pills, normal allopathic remedy, they have a lot of substance, but they don't have enough strong electromagnetic field. This means that they're not similar to us. And the law of similarity is the basic law of universe that we use in homeopathy. That's why homeopathy is so effective. We know the concept of resonance from physics. From Latin, resonance means I return the sound. And the tuning fork vibrates at a certain tone only if that tone corresponds to its own frequency, only if there is similarity. Otherwise, the tuning fork doesn't respond to any sound. So if the remedy is not similar to you, it will not produce any results. And so this is one case, and with which I will demonstrate levels, 7 levels of homeopathy. This is one approach. Till the end of this event, I may show other cases and may show some other approaches, so you might create some picture about what homeopathy is. So this is a case I had recently. This is a woman. I saw her in May 2020. Това е случай на жена, която видях през май 2020. Actually, I treat her since 1 year. I've given her different remedies. They improved her partially, but not enough. The migraine never gone. Her mental state improved a little bit, but the migraine never improved. So sometimes, after the case, I will explain why we need some time to heal the person. In many cases, it can happen from first consultation, but in some cases, this is a process because we need time to understand you, especially if the remedy is very rare. So I asked her, what is the type of the pain? She came with me in acute, in crisis. She has migraine before menses. So she told me extremely sharp in the left temple, only with tight scarf. Only a tight scarf improves the pain because it presses. Така че тя ми казва, болката е остра, тук в лявото слепоочие и само стегната превръзка подобрява. And when I wake up, I can't sleep, and I still can't sleep because of nervous or thoughts. И когато се събудя през нощта, не мога да заспя от нерви и мисли. And very often, from the main complaint, we can find the sensation of the patient. And in this case, especially when the patient comes with us in acute situation, which is very obvious, everything is on the surface, and then it's easier for us as a homeopath to understand you. Когато сте в остра ситуация, в криза, за нас е по-лесно да ви разберем. So I told her, describe the word sharp outside of you, forget about you. And she said, it's like someone is stabbing a nail or a knife into me, and I literally want to hit my head somewhere, pull out that knife, get rid of that pain. When you say stabbing a knife, what comes to your mind spontaneously? And she said something very interesting: betrayal, violence, lot of blood, death. This is after some questions. This is extract of the case, actually. Това е след много въпроси. Това всъщност е екстракт от случая. But these are the main questions I have asked her. Така че тя каза, аз се питах, опиши остър извън теб, извън контекста, и тя каза, че това е като промушване с нож. И буквално искам да си ударя главата някъде и да изтръгна този нож и да се махне тази болка. И аз се попитах, когато казваш пронизване с нож, какво ти хрумва спонтанно? И тя каза нещо много интересно. Предателство, насилие, много кръв, смърт. So can you see how interesting? From one headache, we came to betrayal, violence, lot of blood, death. Strange. And I said, great. Keep describing what is seen as pictures or sensations. What you can see inside of you as pictures or sensations. And she said, I see shiny and sharp knife, but the blood is very warm. I want to feel the cold of the knife, not the heat that radiates from my head. Also a lot of rage and anger. And she said, и аз се питах, браво, опиши това, което виждаш като картини или усещания. И тя каза, ярък, лъскав, остър нож, който е топъл, но аз искам да усетя студеното в него и също много ярост и гняв усещам. And I said, describe these words, anger and rage outside of you, forget about you. Inhale, keep this breath, and then exhale, do this 3 times, and keep describing them. And she said, rage is red, fire. I imagine hot fire, very strong fire. Anger is black, and it's like a ball, something big, heavy. Describe a red hot fire. И аз си казах, опиши думите гняв и ярост извън теб, извън контекста. И тя каза, гневът е червен, огнен. Представям си горещ огън, много силен. Гневът е черен, като топка, нещо тежко. И аз се питах, опиши червен, горещ огън. And then I asked her some things, but they're not important, so I cut the case and decided to describe the last most important part. And we did meditation for changing of the form. And after the meditation, after, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour, she told me, I saw a birth, but before that, I saw a bear. And other times in other regressions, I imagined myself as a bear. I'm huge, but there is an air in me like a balloon, and there is weight. It's very strange. It has filled the whole space. И тя каза, направихме медитация за промяна на формата, и тя каза, видях се като птица и мечка, и тази мечка е много голяма като балон. Какво е усещането да бъдеш мечка, птица? And she said, the feeling in this bear is a little scary because it's big and everyone can see it. And the bird can hide and is freer, more mobile. The bear is clumsy. But when I was a bear, I felt very calm. The feeling is that if I remain in the state of a bear, my spirit will break away and I will die. И тя каза, че Чувството да си мечка е много плашещо, защото тя е голяма, всеки може да я види. А птицата може да се скрие. The bird can hide. This was very interesting. When we see something strange, we have to note, because the birds actually, they don't hide. This is not a feature of the birds. The birds flying, gliding, sliding, but they never hide. So in previous interviews, I've given her a bird because she even did these gestures, flying, explained all words, kind of all set of words belonging to the birds, light, gliding, vastness, everything. But I realized that even with the patients who very good imitate birds, the difference between there are many, but one of the differences between birds and mammals is this rage, furiousness. We also have this in birds, but we have also spirituality in birds, especially birds who belongs to fourth, fifth, and sixth row of the periodic table. In third row also, but they have superficial spiritual level of spirituality. And this kind of jealousy, she was very jealous, and her behavior was like cheeky, smiling, witty. She was very witty, cheeky, and wanted amusement. But in this kind of deep trance meditation, we don't always see that patient will recall the name of the animal he associate with, but he will tell us the qualities of the animal he needs as a homeopathy remedy. И така, аз осъзнах, че въпреки, че тя в предни интервюта летеше като птица, използваше целият набор от думи, лекота, ширина, летеше даже с жестове, осъзнах, че основната разлика между птиците и бозайниците е тази, че при бозайниците има много гняв, особено при по-агресивните. И птиците са по-духовни, особено тези, които кореспондират с четвърти, пети и шести ред от периодичната таблица, докато тези от трети имат по-повърхностна духовност, просто религия и четене на молитви, без дълбочина, без дълбоко разбиране на духовните закони. И освен това, птиците също могат да бъдат гневни и агресивни, но, както казах, те имат тази духовна нотка, която липсва при бозайниците, въпреки че те също могат да са духовни, но also the body language is very important. The birds, especially Ciconiforms, for example, the ibis and great blue heron, for example, they're very calm. You know, the birds in the nature, when they walking on the river, they don't do any circles around their legs. They don't do circles in the water during their walking. So they're very calm people, very spiritual, but especially great blue heron is very detached. So nothing outside cannot affect him. But this is the problem, which is good in general. But the problem is that he is so detached and so far away from the events on this world that he cannot react. He cannot connect with himself, and he cannot react in the daily life. And he rather wait for the things came to him than to do things. The people who need this remedy, they don't act, they just wait. This is the problem of detachment. Otherwise, detachment is very good. Instead of ibis, the bird ibis, they are also calm. They also walk very slowly without making any circles around their legs in the water. But they're always searching for something new. They're always searching to do something. But in general, the birds are more spiritual than the mammals. So I asked her, до тук обяснявах каква е разликата между птиците и бозайниците. С две думи казах, че птиците са по-духовни, пациентите, които имат нужда от птиче лекарство, са по-духовни, техният език на тялото е по-различен, въпреки че в този случай като изключение тя правеше жестове на птици, но поведението й беше игриво, закачливо, хитро и обичаше забавленията, като е характеристика на едно друго подцарство бозайници. Ще видим кое е сега. So she was witty, cheeky, which is characteristic of some other subkingdom. We will see what a little bit after a while. So I asked her, what other animal do you like? And she told me cats. Tell me a little more about cats. They are cunning predators. I really like their paws. I like tiger, jaguar, panther. Domestic cats are not so interesting, but big tigers, jaguars are royal. They have a royal life. It's as if they are undisturbed. At some point, they catch the prey. They don't work hard and catch the prey, and sometimes I get annoyed because I can't do this like them. I like to be lazy. I like to be like them. And she narrated this with a lot of energy. I want to be lazy and to catch the victim like them, or in human life, it wouldn't be I want to catch the victim, but I want to be lazy, and when I need to do something, I will do this. And this is very prominent for the cat family, for prominent feature, that they are lazy and they act only when they need to eat. The lion is the same, the domestic cat is the same. So at this point, we had a hint about cat, but which kind of cat? We have big cats, we have domestic cats, we have other cats, wild cats, small wild cats. И така тя каза, тази котка е хитра и си стои на едно място и само когато трябва да хване жертвата, тя посяга и я прави. И аз малко и завиждам, защото аз искам така, не мога. И това е основна отличителна черта на котките по принцип. Знаете, и лъвовете, те лежат и само когато трябва да се нахранят, стават и действат. И това важи и за домашните котки, и за другите диви котки. Но коя точно да й дадем и дали е това, нека да видим. So I said her, enter the cat you imagine, take a deep breath, merge with it and feel what it does, what it feels like spending a day in it. Take your time. And she said, she stands like in a branch all the time, wagging his tail and looking up. First she stood on the branch. After a while she felt hungry and just swung her paw and caught an animal. I can't imagine them running away. If they move, it's slow, leisurely, some kind of indifference. He kills animals without feeling anything. She kills animals without pity. This is very interesting. И така, тя каза, тази котка си стои наклона и си размахва опашката. И тя не тича, не мога да си я представя да тича, тя по-скоро е мързелива и има някакво безразличие. Тя просто убива жертвата без жалост. So I understood that this is not domestic cat, this is not big cat, because her level of confidence is not high. Along with sensation method, we have to be aware about the level of evolutionary level of the patient, evolutionary level of his behavior. And her behavior was not, she's not as responsible as the animals which correspond with the sixth row of periodic table, where we have aurum and platina. She wanted to feel special. She wanted special attention. She wanted to attract attention. So she corresponded more with fifth row of the periodic table. And I would say with the third row also, although Joshi, who has written an amazing book about mammals, I only think that the small wild big cats belongs to also the third row. So what animals does it kill? Какви животни убива, се питах. Тя каза мишки, малки животни. He kills rabbits and then kills the animal and then plays with that animal a little arrogantly and ate it. And it was the hot spot of the case. It actually gave me the exact quality of the animal and the cat she needs. Тя убива зайци и лъвове и след това си играе с тях малко така нагло, преди да ги изяде. Това беше точната характеристика, която ми трябваше, за да разбера точната котка, от която има нужда. And I was very happy at this moment because I knew what she talks about. So I said her, well done, great. I have a feeling. Then she said, I have a feeling that if other animals come to this cat, she doesn't want to talk to them. She's self-sufficient. And self-sufficient, you know, is one of the main characteristics of the big cats. They're independent. They want to be, and they're self-sufficient. They're loner. They live in a groups, but they like to have their space, to have space for themselves. And she told me when I was a child, I was alone. I didn't mix with people a lot. But at the same time, she likes amusement. She likes jumping. She likes communication. On top of that, she's very brave, she told me, this cat. She's not afraid of anything because she knows that she kills them all with just one paw. She's primitive. How she looks like. And she said something very interesting. Some like orange with some spots. And this actually was the exact color of the cat I gave her, and it worked very beautifully. So, и така тя ми каза, и аз си казах браво, супер, защото аз знаех за коя котка ми говори. И след това тя казва, аз имам чувство, че тя не... че ако други животни отидат при тази котка, тя няма да си говори с тях, защото си е самодостатъчна. И това е една от основните характеристики на котките, че те са независими, самодостатъчни, живеят сами. И тя ми каза в детството, че аз обичах да съм сама, независимо, че сега тя обича забавленията, обича да има време за себе си и да е сама. И след това я питах как изглежда тази котка и тя каза оранжева с петна и това е точно цвета на котката, която й дадах и тя имаше невероятен ефект. So, I would like to show you, искам да ви покажа a short video with this cat, only to find the original link. Just a moment. Because I cannot copy and paste directly from here. This is one short video of how you see the big cats here. And this is the cat serval. And her exact color of the fur is orange with spots. Can you see? There are 4 big cats around her, and she's smaller than them. Can you see what happened? Hide. She's witty and she was hiding from the big cat. And this was the exact what she said about the bird after the transmutation or changing the form. She told me this bird is hiding. And then she said about the cat, when I asked her about the cat, she told me this cat is witty and cunning. And can you see how she managed to cope with this 4 cats by her wittiness, cunningness, wittiness. Видяхте как Сървала, благодарение на това, че е хитър и се крие и ги измами и те не успяха да намерят как една малка котка да се справи с 4 големи котки. И точно това тя каза след трансформиращата медитация, която правихме. Каза, че се е видяла като птица, която се крие, което е странно, защото птиците по принцип не се крият. Но ние не очакваме от пациентите да ни кажат точното име на животното, с което се асоциират и от което ще имат нужда като лекарство. Но за нас са важни неговите качества. So, the first analysis, the first level, let me see. how to show the presentation again. Yes. So the first level here is name of the disease, migraine. The second level fact is that he get this migraine before menses, the pain is cutting, and banding ameliorate. The third level emotions, main her fear was of being abandoned of her boyfriend. So the situation was like this. She was afraid of being abandoned from her boyfriend, and they had often quarrels with a lot of rage from her side, a lot of rage. So her feminine energy was at very low level, and she was more masculine. She had more masculine features than feminine. That's why there was a disturbance, there was a quarrels and conflicts in family. And she jealous even from her children. So the fourth level is delusion here. On the fourth level, we have images. The fourth level or delusion level is the imagination which the person have for himself in life in general, how he perceives himself, or how she sees herself during the interview. She saw herself as a bird and bear. And then we have fifth A level kingdom. This is animal kingdom because she had features as attractiveness, aggressiveness, and the other person is guilty about my problems. So the problem is from outside. In animal kingdom, we have this. The fifth B level is sub-kingdom, independent, self-sufficient, and also witty, cheeky, and amusement desire. This is the quality of the small wild cats, along with lot of rage. You remember, I'm so angry that as if a fire, as if толкова съм гневна, че се едно пушек излиза от главата ми, огън излиза. And the fifth C is source level. On this level, we have cunning, ferocious, play with the victim before eating it. It was the main features of the exact source. И така, на първо ниво имаме името на болестта, в случая мигрена. Второ ниво е предимензис, остра и стегната превръзка подобрява. На трето ниво емоции имаме да си изоставен сам, гняв, ревност. На четвърто ниво имаме като делюзия. На четвърто ниво обикновено това е визията на човека за себе си в живота. Това може да бъде визия, примерно, че е пренебрегнат, визия, че или пък, че е велик човек, или пък визия, че другите му се подиграват. Възможности са безброй, но в този случай нейната делюзия беше, че е мечка или птица. И на 5А ниво кореспондира с царството. Имахме желание за привлекателност, агресивност и той е виновен за моите проблеми. Някой отвън обикновено е виновен за нашите проблеми. Тогава това за нас означава животинско царство. Под царство котки, защото те са независими. Тя каза, че е себедостатъчна. И от предни интервюта аз знаех, че тя има този склонност към независимост. So from the previous interviews, I knew that she's independent. И 5C ниво е източник. Тя лъже, гневна е, такава много агресивна и злобна. Знаете, котките, когато ги заплашвате, те съскат, извиват си гърба и ръмжат. So, and play with the victim и си играе с жертвата преди да я изяде, което беше основно в случая. You know, the wildcats, when you approach them, when you dread them, they hiss, they growl, and they're very ferocious, very, very ferocious. And what is the difference between big cats and domestic cats and wild small big cats? Small wild cats, sorry. So the patients who need big cats, they will talk about power, authority, strength. They're very responsible. We didn't have this in the case. Instead of small cats, domestic cats, they're very submissive. We didn't have this also. So the wild big cats are in the middle between the big cats and the domestic cats. And she was exactly like this. And what is very prominent for small wild cats is this behavior, gestures, smiling, jumping desire, amusement desire. This is very prominent for small wild cats. So if lacphalinum doesn't work, think about small wild cats. There are a few. Serval is one of them. And follow up after 30 minutes actually, because she came in acute state. After half an hour, the pain gone. The pain is not as sharp already, and she got appetite and she wanted to eat. And the next day, I gave her 3 doses 330C, 3 doses 30C every 15 minutes. And in about 1 hour, the headache completely gone. It was very sharp, very severe. And и така проследяване след около час, след 3 дози 30C от лекарството, главоболието ѝ напълно мина и емоционално тя се почувства по-добре. Каза, че този гняв, те имаха ситуация с съпруга си, в която тя се чувстваше много, ревнуваше от децата. Че той ще излезе с децата, а не с нея. И това беше огромен проблем и такова главоболие, ще й се пръсне главата, пръска се от яд. И след 3 дози от лекарство всичко това изчезна. So they had a situation with her husband at the same time. He wanted to go out with them without her, and this was tragedy for her. And this created this not created, but this increased additionally the pain. So it was unbearable, and after 3 doses, it gone completely. And you know, the serval is very rare remedy. We don't have any proving about this remedy. И сервал е много рядко лекарство. Ние нямаме някакво доказване, ние нямаме материя медика на това лекарство. Но имаме малко информация в книгата на Джоши и в Google, разбира се. И по този начин ние можем да разбираме нашите пациенти, защото, както казах, във всеки един от нас се пее една друга песен. Във всеки един от нас има един друг модел, който ни кара да мислим, да се държим по определен начин, който предизвиква нашите физически оплаквания. И когато дадем хомеопатично лекарство подобно на този модел, лека по лека неговите вибрации намаляват и след това, след известен период, напълно изчезват. И така, follow up after 1 week, she was again angry and quarreling with her boyfriend. So I increased the dose. I gave her Leptylurus Serval 200C 1 dose. And then after 10 days. She couldn't sleep. She get better after 200C. But she told me, I feel that this potency is not strong enough for me. After 2 days, 3 days, I again feel angry. So I understood that I have to increase the potency, and I gave her 1M along with difficult sleep during full moon. And after leptilurus serval 1M, her sleep improved. And she said me, my jealousy subsided and relationship with the partner is much better. There is a lot of love between us. There is everything I wanted before. И така, след една седмица тя пак беше гневна и все пак се караше с приятеля си. Повторих лекарството в по-висока потенция един път. И след това, след още 10 дни, по време на пълнолуние ми каза, не мога да спя. И чувствам, че потенцията ми е малка. След 2-3 дни пак ставам гневна. Така че аз си дадох 1М. И тя започна да спи добре по време на пълнолунието и каза, че ревността е намаляла. Връзката е много добра, има много любов между тях. Отдавна е чакала това. So she is still on the treatment. And you see, what is very important, this connection between the patient and homeopath. We corresponded almost every day or once in a week, especially in acute situation, or when we have to tune the potency. So these follow-ups are very important. Така че вие виждате тук, ние почти всеки ден си комуникирахме с нея, за да регулирам потенциите, така че тези проследявания са много важни. И така, this is from me today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can write to me here on this email. И така, благодаря на всички. Ако имате някакви въпроси, може да ми пишете на този имейл. Чао от мен! Bye!
Thank you, Genevieve.
Thank you, Kartik, and have a good evening.
That was.
Thank you very much for your contribution
This is
and devotion.
not at all. Not at all. This is the first time I'm hearing about the serval remedy.
Me
Very
too.
interesting one.
Me too. I didn't know. And she really flight like a bird. But what was very interesting,
Right.
in one of the interviews, she told me this bird flying like this. But then she
Okay.
started craziness. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See you all tomorrow at 7:30 India time. We
See
have
you tomorrow.
more
Looking
of
forward to seeing
homeopathy
all of
there.
you. Bye and all the
All
love.
right. Bye bye.